Let's give it a little time lapse. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Stephanie Stevens Show. Today, I'm in the home of Mark Henderson. Mark Henderson is he's a survivor of one of the most brutal attacks from a serial killer right here in Toronto. He survived the attack of Mr. Bruce McArthur. And today we're going to talk about the survival. The survival it took for him to just be brave enough, first of all, to tell his story. And second of all, is the mere fact that he is living that memory almost every day, but trying to stay positive and focused to just make his life better. And he's a survivor of a lot of different things that have happened in the LGBT two-spirit pronoun community. And he has decided that he wants to help educate and inspire our audience out there and other gay men and women and other non-binary people and pronouns, how they can survive through the roughest of times. So I just want to say thank you so much, Mark, for coming on my show. You know, like you said earlier, we've known each other for years. And at first, I'm going to be honest, when we first talked on it, I didn't remember you exactly. And then I started scrolling through your stuff. And I want to just say welcome to the show. You know, you're brave, first of all, for doing this. Second of all, for reliving a lot of this. I know it must be hard. Now, I don't want to really focus on the Bruce McArthur. I want to focus on your survival. What are you doing now?
Well, thanks for having me on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
There's a lot of performers come and go, and we've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
And some stay, and some have huge careers, and they drink it, or it goes up their nose, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're someone who, from the moment you got into town, you were giving money back. Because in those years, we were raising money to save our brothers and sisters that were
Oh, yes.
being taken.
Oh, yes.
And so the fact that we're here, it's so many years later, and
Mhm.
you're looking amazing. Your show is fantastic. You're good at what you do. Of course, I'd leap at being here with you.
Thank you. You know, this world you live in is very eccentric. It's very, you know, when we first were looking at this, you caught our attention on TikTok. You actually caught the producer's attention on TikTok. So she kept messaging me about you and asking me, did I know you? And I said, no, I don't think I know him. And she says, well, I want you to look into this and let's see if we can get him on the show. So when I came into your home and I saw all of this, and I thought, like you say, your friend says, Mark, you're too much, or this is too much. But this is so fabulous. This is like if you were living with Liberace, Liberace or Little Richard. This seems, but what I like is details.
Yeah.
People who are eccentric live in the world of details. And from what I'm seeing, this is probably a therapeutic thing for you as well as a survivor. This helps you cope with, you know, moving forward because you're doing things that you love.
If my sister was here, she would say he's never been any different. I'm living the life I lead, that I've always wanted to lead. You and I both know people, we meet them, and they have a secret double life, or they open their closet and we find it, there's a leather chaps in there, or a bunch of Barbra Streisand albums they hide. I don't have a secret life I'm hiding. I'm just here living my life, and I'm more comfortable in dresses. I'm more comfortable in an abandoned ballroom as my living room. I like living out and large.
Mm-hmm.
When I was very young, especially the gay men at the time, they were fun. And they had dinner parties. There was a dinner party circuit. They were on the edge. And then what would happen after the dinner party, I don't even want to say. But that was part of being there. And then those guys all went fast
Mhm.
when 1984 on, when AIDS hit. The fun ones went first. And then I felt during the 90s, as people were getting gay marriage, of course it's important, and forming families and buying homes and being in the PTA and all that stuff. I kind of thought gay men were running the risk of becoming boring.
Mhm.
And thankfully, you and I both see what gay marriage looks like. We're
Mhm.
redefining what that term means. And the gay marriages that I know,
Mhm.
they have a communication that is hands down ahead and above the rest.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, it's funny that you say that. It's we've changed so much in such a quick amount of time. But we're not saying anything new. We've been saying these kind of things all our lives. We've been asking for equality, health care, protection, and all this stuff, and to be recognized as just normal human beings and doing everything that everybody else does. Now, what I want to ask you is this. This is really, I'm just going to say it.
Go ahead.
The way you live, how is it that we know that this is a world of make-believe, or it's how you feel because you're an artist and this is how you make money from either whether you're doing stage work or you're trying to show an era that was grand and very movies, the kind of things that happen in movies. What is it that you want from all of this? What is it that you're seeking?
Well, my goal in life isn't happiness, because that's too conditional. If you treat me the way I want you to treat me, I'll be happy. That means my happiness is based on your actions. So I don't want that. That's not my goal.
Mhm.
Maya Angelou says we seek peace of mind. That's a better goal. And so I seek peace of mind, and I live my life the way I feel like living it. After everything that's been said about me in the media and not just news shows and papers, but social media and TikToks about that carry the killer's narrative. After everything that's been said about me, if I walk down the street in a crazy dress and live in a very Baroque Rococo life, people think I'm cuckoo, I think I'm Rococo, I can live with that. The words do not hurt me anymore.
Well, because we are right here in the center of the gay village, we're used to seeing people that are a little bit eccentric as well. But I'm sure people who think of themselves as normal, or even some gay men who really like this sort of thing but too scared to embrace it because they're too scared to feel like the community will, laugh at them or whatever. But it's hard to convince people that when you're living in an era that, first of all, that they don't understand, that only certain groups of people will understand this eccentric lifestyle.
Well, you said we're here in the center of the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to change that a little bit, because I think you and I, we're the nucleus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're it. Think of all the people that said no to you, that said out, said you can't come in, this isn't for you, you're not in the show. No, no, we've heard it 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they? They're not here. They're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
They either left the business or died or did something, but they are not here, and there is nobody saying no to us now. We are the nucleus of the gay community, and I know every year at Pride, I have a little spot I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that have been seeing me there for 30 years.
Well, it's funny when you say that. It's great. First of all, it's great that we're alive.
Mm-hmm.
That is an amazing thing. With AIDS, SARS, this corona here, and the mere fact of a serial killer in our community, and a lot of drug overdoses, and really bad things that have happened in the gay community. And for us to have survived, you're so right. We did something right. But what I like about you is that you maybe this is an outlet of some kind for you, which is a great thing. A hobby, or you're looking to, you know, get work, or you're just being fabulous.
This is not an outlet for me. This is me.
Oh, this
It's
is
more. It's more an outlet for you right now.
Mhm.
You're coming through an experience right now and basking in it. I love watching that, but
Mhm.
I love that you get it, and that we're alive. Maya Angelou again says, "If you woke up this morning, you've already been paid."
Mhm.
And I'm not sure the world gets that.
I
When
get
was
that.
when I was very
I get that.
I was very young, I heard Maya Angelou say it on an Oprah show, and I wrote it down
Mhm.
because I did not understand it, and I thought someday I'll need to know this. So if you're watching this, write this down. If you woke up this morning, you have already been paid.
That's true.
And if you don't understand that today, write it down, put it somewhere. Eventually, you're going to look at that, and with a horror, you're
Mhm.
going to cling to it.
What do you think? What do men think? I mean, I'm not trying to get too personal, but if you were having a boyfriend over or a hookup over, and they come here, what do they think?
Um, First of all, I have a lot of hookups.
Oh, okay.
That's my lifestyle. I'm one of the old ones. I'm not the marrying kind of any sort. And I love taking lovers. I think I'm hoping that the goods I'm selling underneath here distract enough from this.
Oh,
But I
okay.
have had actually a couple from Peterborough came in to buy a piece of furniture off me, because for a while I would trade up and sell the old stuff to buy something better.
Mhm.
And the woman jumped in the hall and she was just crying. And he came back in and said, she thinks it's a funeral home. Her dad just died and it kind of looks like the funeral home he was in.
Oh my God!
But
They
you,
think they
but,
look like a funeral home.
but you get this, because we were raised on the Addams Family and the Munsters and I Dream of Jeannie, and like we were that generation that came through some really weird TV, and
Oh, yeah.
we get it.
Endora from Bewitched.
Bewitched, yeah.
All these period pieces. This is so amazing. I'm glad I got to experience this. I mean, I always wanted, when I go to Vegas, to go to Liberace's museum so I can see how
Lee.
you know
Lee.
how,
I got
extravagant
stories.
he lived.
I got stories. Now, here's what I want you to do with this when you leave here.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a press junket,
Mm-hmm.
when you need to give interviews, because I know big things are coming your way. Your
Mhm.
future is so bright for me, it blinds my eyes to even think about it. But what you should do is come here and do your press outlet here and have pictures of yourself, like on the tables behind us,
Mm-hmm.
and this should be your press location.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because this is amazing. If you guys could actually see this room, it's fantastic.
It's a boudoir. In my mind.
A boudoir. This is fantastic. And, what, are you happy now, Mark? Are you okay? I mean, how long has it, one question at a time.
Yeah.
How long has it been since Bruce MacArthur? 5 years?
You asked me if I'm happy. I don't seek happiness.
Okay.
I seek peace of mind.
Okay.
I have peace of mind right now because my only job in this universe is to be right here with you.
Okay.
If they gave me an Oscar yesterday, or they're going to cut my head off tomorrow, neither matter. My only job is to be in this moment with you.
Okay.
So I have peace of mind. So that's checked for me.
Okay.
My encounter with the killer,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to say his name. I just don't want to. His name gets too much already.
Okay.
You know, I'm a footnote in his story right now,
Mhm.
but I promise you, before I die, my Wikipedia page, he is going to be a footnote in mine. I am not going
Mhm.
to remain a footnote in his.
Well, I'm just blessed that when we were talking about the story, she says, well, we're not focusing on the Bruce MacArthur story or theories and anything that happened. We want to focus on his survival. So are you in a good place now?
Well, we have to touch on the story a little bit in order for me to
Mhm.
lay it out. But in 2001, on Halloween Day,
So it's been how many years since this?
20 years this year.
Since he attacked you?
Yes.
Okay.
And my friend and I had founded the Halloween on Church Street festival. It's the largest Halloween party in North America, beating Mexico, which I'm so proud of. So it's about 100,000, and it's an odd mix of the gay community, Asian community, and Middle Eastern communities. And I don't know what is in the Middle Eastern and Asian community that brings it out, but those are three cultures that meet on that night that don't meet any other time of the year in the way that they do. So I'm very proud of that. So my attack happened on Halloween day at noon. He got in front of the story by running over and pleading guilty when I fought back. And I want you to know from me to you, I fought back like a son of a bitch. He walked out of here hurt. I had a fractured skull and a broken arm, but he walked out of here hurt. That's who's in this chair.
Wonderful.
So yeah. So
I don't want you to relive it. I'm trying to.
yeah.
But I do want you to understand that I understand.
Yeah, I get that. So he got in front of the story, then he got off because he was in front of the story, and then nothing happened until 18 when he then got in front of the story again, but I had a gag order because it's a trial in Canada and I couldn't come out. I was the only witness they had. And in the intervening years between 2001 and his arrest in 18, he never let up on me. Not for one day. So I would be performing. I did an awful lot of shows for Casey House. I raised $6.2 million for Casey House. And I would be on stage and I would see him in the audience. Now, let's take that with a grain of salt, because if you ask me when was the last time I saw him, I saw him 2 weeks ago on Yonge Street. But you and I both know he's in jail. So I was always running from a demon that may or may not have existed. But many times it was actually him for 17 years, and I couldn't get anyone to hear me. So within all of that, I still wanted to be this. I still wanted to be fabulous. I still wanted to be out and loud and proud and a peacock and have all the fun I could have playing out at the world. So I had to go on.
Well, you know, Mark, it's rather strange. I want to just say this here, because me and you will understand this, and a lot of the people in the gay community will understand it. First of all, most people who would think of you, okay, you're a stripper. You're openly admitted that you like men, and every now and then you like some company of men. And then two, this is this eccentric world that people might not understand all of this. And the mere fact that you're outspoken. So now you have 5 or 6 things that might make people think, like you said earlier, that maybe you're a little crazy or you're mentally ill in some sense. But I understand the fight. The fight, when you said that, you said it with, he's not gonna get me. Because you knew.
I knew he wasn't going to get me. Katharine Hepburn says, in this battle between me and the world, I'm going to win. And that was what I'd say every day. I knew he was out there. But you also know, from being a black man and a gay man, and that the first thing the system does is discredit us. And that's where I'm really angry, that I was dismissed. I was sexualized. And in 2018, when all of the men came up missing and dead in the media, they were sexualized over and over and over and over again, not looking at the other similarities that they had, but the media just took the most salacious ones. And in every story had to say they had ties to the gay community. I was walking down the street on Halloween. If that's ties to the gay community, that was purely location. So I think when you have something to say, and I won't let you say it because I'm judging you by your skin color, your religion, your sexuality, or something about you that's of who you are, there's a pain inside of you when you can't get it out and they won't let you. And I think when George Floyd was killed and we saw America erupt, some part of me was thinking, finally, these people, are...
Well, the good thing about all of this You said it earlier when I was getting ready that this pandemic leveled the playing field. It changed the whole dynamics of this game. So a lot of these people who did these really bad things for a very long time, with acting like they had good intentions, are now getting their just desserts, in a sense.
Yeah. I say a lot of stuff, so if I said that, I probably did. Like I'm busted. Okay, but all I can tell you for me is, after the killer's arrest, casting in Toronto, film and television, it was over. It's absolutely over. I think with my experience in raising money for Casey House, and Princess Di came to visit me at work, and I think I should have been a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm perfect, but
You are perfect for that.
But they picked some guy that, who the hell was that other judge? I'm like, he's not even from our community. And anyways,
Well, you know, sometimes people go with the easiest things.
Yeah.
They go with the easiest things. They don't see the whole outlook of the show. That's why Canada's Drag Race is struggling right now to even try to produce any real sort of worthwhile episodes, is because they don't have the right people on the judges panel, none of them, and they don't have the right people in the show.
Yeah, casting, like I wanted to be on Big Brother Canada, but they won't touch me either. No one's gonna touch me. So what it did for me when COVID came along was suddenly every actor was shelved. So I was in good company. I was shelved because of somebody else killed a bunch of people. That's a rotten reason to shelve me. And I think casting in Toronto should be ashamed of themselves. They're wrong. I'm a talented actor. But they don't want me. That's fine. So where do I go next? First thing I did was open an OnlyFans. And you know what? I banked it. I made as a working actor from 2018 to now, I made a total of $400. So I took the only open door, and the media had sexualized me beyond anything. So I just opened that door and went in.
Well, you know, sometimes it's good to be just straight out open and honest.
I love being honest. I love being honest.
Because sometimes they just need that. That way, they can't go any further. They can't go any left or right, because you said it already.
Yeah.
So they can't. It has no weight to it.
I have talent in that I'm a survivor. I bounce. I always say Joan Rivers lives on this shoulder and Jane Mansfield lives on this shoulder, and both of them said bounce. It's if that's what's gonna sell the tickets, sexualize yourself then. You don't say no in an improv. Go. And what happened initially, and what happens all the time for me, is people look like, oh my God, this is the sex pot, but then I have talent that goes with it. And then suddenly by the end of the act, they're like, oh, I get it, you know. Seeing old people with a sexual identity is creepy. There's also a lot of humor in it.
Well, that's because you're not heterosexual. Now, if you were heterosexual and you had lots of young girls around you and you were a millionaire, nobody would pay that any attention, because Hugh Hefner's done it from the beginning of time.
No money. Those girls don't pay, or I'd be there. You know what I mean?
And you're a gay man, and they already know that we're mostly sexualized anyway, because the only thing they can think about is us in the gay pride parades half naked and trying to have sex or doing drugs in nightclubs all night long and doing these crazy things. But you know, that's okay for them to think that way. Now that times have changed, it's good that we are doing a lot of talking.
Yeah. People are going to think what they're going to think, though, right? One time I was, years ago, before Freddie Mercury died, I had spent a summer with him in upstate New York. And Abby Hoffman was across the lake, and Lauren Hutton was at the cottage beside us. And I'm not allowed to say things about her doing all the drugs, but if I could say, if I could say that. Anyways, a book was written about Freddie Mercury, in which I was quoted, and there's a shot of me, and I'm naked on a dock, and the quote in the book was as if I said it just that day. And so I realized people would read this book and think, oh my God, they think I said that, and I'm not that person, and I wanted to suck it back in or take it back. And it was too late, and I called somebody, and they said to me, if somebody writes a book, it's between them, their computer, and their God. And if I read a book in Oshawa or Oakville, it's between them, their armchair, and their God. And she said, if you want to put yourself in every living room of every person reading that book, you can do it, but you'll go crazy. Or you can realize it's not about you. You're not in it. And I would say, but it's my picture, it's my words. And she said, you're not in that. That book has legs of its own, and a producer and a manager, and it's on a road trip. Has nothing to do with me. And I was putting myself in it. So I really realized that, especially during COVID, that if we want to put ourselves out here, which a lot of our world is about, especially social media, what do they think of me? How many likes do I have? How popular am I? When I couldn't go out, I was forced to go up. I'm not a spiritual, or I'm not a religious person, but I think that the next phase for mankind is we're looking up, looking down at our feet. There's no money in that. So I just...
Well, I want to say this. I am very happy that you are in a better place now. Like you said, we're both the survivors of many different things.
Can I just say, when I was attacked, I was in a bad place for a couple of weeks. What really got bad was that I never got to tell anybody. So I just had to go on. The thing for me has always been that I knew what was going on. And I had to go on to a better place within 2 or 3 years. I mean, it took me a long time to recover, but I had to go on. And so when he was rearrested, it got bad again, but I'd already done that. I've already climbed that mountain. So this time he's away and safe. But I've always been okay because I had to go and be okay.
Okay. I want to ask this because I just think that it's really important for people to understand what you went through. What did it feel like when he first hit you? What did it feel like? What did you think was going on?
The details are let's not go too far into it because it'll.
No,
if you want to, we will. But I don't
want to. I just want to know.
9/11 had just happened.
Okay.
So the buildings had just killed a lot of people. And when he hit me, I thought he tripped, and I turned. At some point, I can't remember how many hits because I broke some fingers in my arm. So there were defense wounds. So more than something happened. But when I looked back at him, I was horrified by the look on his face. And I realized in a flash, oh, he's trying to kill me. And I was shocked. My initial response was, is he okay? He was behind me. But when you were coming over today, I was anxious. Just the normal anxiety. When he was standing behind me in that hallway over at the building that had happened, I wasn't anxious. There was someone behind me who was unsheathing a pipe he'd concealed. And I didn't sense it, I didn't fear it, I had nothing. And to me, that's why he was a good killer. If you stood behind me in this room and were doing something secretive behind me, I guarantee you I would know. But in his case, he had an ability to cloak it, and I can't explain it.
Well, I am just glad that you were here. I'm glad you're here to tell your story many times as you want. I'm glad that you live in this world that takes you away from a lot of the hurt.
I'll tell you one thing that really bugs me. They keep saying the timeline is from 2010 on. I was opening police files on him as a stalker in the summer before he attacked me. So the summer of 2001, and they wouldn't. I was ridiculed. So I've been on this case for 20 years without a day off. When they talk about experts and all this stuff, there's only one person who's been on duty 24 hours a day, and with this case, and that's me. And 2007, I became a police officer in the auxiliary division, and that was a huge thing in the community. That was a ripple through the community again, and I played that out loud. Especially on Pride. I kissed every person up and down the Pride route on the lips that would kiss me back.
Well, I want to wrap it up here, but I want to say that I am glad you are my friend, and I'm glad you were able to open up a little bit about what happened. And I'm glad that you're sharing it with our community because they really need to understand what happened to you. And they need to understand that, for the last few years, we've had this problem with them not wanting the police in the parade, not wanting the police in the bars, not wanting the police on Church Street. Well, back in the days when we used to have the police more visible, we had less of these issues. Even though they might have been underground a little bit, but we didn't have an active serial killer in our community when the police were more active in our community back in the days when we were fighting for our rights. Like you said, when we were fighting for housing, we were fighting for AIDS medications, we were fighting for equality, and these things when all of our friends were dying because the police was very visible. And you know that, and I know that.
That's a very sunny outlook on the police involvement with the LGBT community. I don't share it.
I know.
Like,
I'm talking about at the beginning.
No, I don't share it at any point.
Okay.
But I got a long history of that. And I want to make my closing comments to you. Because this story, we've talked about it and it's going out.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to go anywhere. It just is. And I'm okay with that. The great thing for me is, this is a result of us talking, is that other people out there can say, who can I talk to? Who will listen to my story? And I am so proud at you. I am so glad at you. Because I know what you faced.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how many times your heart was broken. I saw you being left out. I saw you curbed when you wanted to be in there doing something when everybody else wouldn't let you in. And you know what? Now you've got it. And it's almost like the reserve was saved for now, because now you're reaching more people in one video than the people who blocked you out of that show did in their whole careers.
Oh, yeah.
So I am so glad that you have this in you, and you have it in you clean. You're not jaded or bitter or foolish in any way.
It took me a long time to not look behind me. Trust me, Mark, when I tell you that. It took me a
I
long
understand.
time. And it took a lot of just the fact of someone talking to me and telling me, stop looking back there. Stop it.
Yeah.
And every time I kept saying, well, they said, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's what's in front of you. Stephanie, there's a big world in front of you, and you are blessed. Not by the fact you're alive. People are watching you, listening to you, learning from you. And she says, and we don't even have to say that. We see that they copy a lot of your videos. We see they copy a lot of your looks. We see that they copy a lot of you. Don't look back there.
And now you're that voice to everybody. You're that, if you're gonna be if you're gonna be an innovator in show business, be prepared to be imitated. That's the number one skill. They will take your ideas, but you know what? You got 1,005, and you're there.
I'm not mad. I'm blessed. And I want to just say, in closing, thank you guys so much for listening to us today. Hopefully we will have educated and inspired you, or just shared some knowledge of our survivals in this tough world that we live in. And no matter what, people are always going to have their opinions about us, and they're going to always say whether either they're good things or negative things about us. But just like my agent, she always says, just keep moving forward. Don't look behind you. That's done. That's said and done. Leave it alone. And the good thing about this pandemic, like Mark said, it sort of leveled the playing fields. So you now have a chance to get what you want. And you now have a chance, we're all talking now. So, and we're talking at a level we all can understand. And the fact that social media has allowed people to now be more open and honest, vulnerable, and
Cancelled.
Yeah.
That's bam. One quote I'll leave everybody with, and it'll be my final word, is never avoid shade. You want the moment they become bothered.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And on that note, I just want to say to our audience out there, thank you guys so much for supporting Pronoun TV and the Stephanie Stevens Show. I'm blessed that you guys are watching. It's going to be something special. So thank you guys. We are here in Mark Henderson's home. Eccentric movie actor, producer, survivor, and I'm just blessed that he was able to share his story with us. So I just want to say thank you, sir. Thank you. And bye, y'all. Thank you, Mark.
You're a doll. You're a doll.
That was great.